The 2007's Ghost Rider movie brought the flaming skull-headed anti-hero to the big screen, starring Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze and helmed by the same director who gave us 2003's Daredevil. While the film didn't achieve widespread critical acclaim, it marked a noticeable improvement for the director's cinematic efforts. Despite its lukewarm reception from critics, the movie managed to cultivate a dedicated fan base who found themselves drawn to the portrayal of the titular character and the unique premise. It certainly delivered on the visual front, showcasing impressive special effects that brought Ghost Rider's powers and transformations to life. However, its narrative often felt rushed, with a fast-paced story that left little room for significant character development. This, combined with some cheesy and generic dialogue, prevented the movie from reaching its full potential, despite its visually engaging spectacle. In this video, join along for a deep dive into the fiery world of Ghost Rider, a film that is absolutely packed with layers of lore, visual storytelling, and nods to the Marvel comics that many viewers might have completely missed. From subtle references to casting choices and Easter eggs, you'll be amazed at how much was woven into the fabric of this film, revealing a richer and more intricate story than you ever realized. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
Let's ride.
Nicolas Cage, born Nicholas Kim Coppola, is well known as a comic book enthusiast, with a passion that influenced significant choices in his life and career. Early in his acting journey, he changed his surname to avoid the appearance of nepotism from his famous filmmaking family, including his uncle, director Francis Ford Coppola. This desire to forge his own path led him to adopt his surname Cage, which was inspired by the Marvel superhero Luke Cage and the famous composer John Cage. His devotion to comics is further evident as he named one of his sons Kal-El, Superman's Kryptonian birth name. While Ghost Rider marked Cage's first official role based on a comic character, it wasn't his only brush with the superhero world. He was previously considered for the role of Green Goblin in 2002's Spider-Man, and was even cast as Superman in Tim Burton's unproduced film project. Nicolas Cage's dedication to the role of Ghost Rider in the 2007 film was well known, stemming from his long-standing admiration for the Marvel comic character. An enthusiastic fan since childhood, Cage reportedly read the very first issue of Ghost Rider when he was just 8 years old. This deep personal connection fueled his intense desire to portray the part, leading him to actively lobby for the role. To embody the physically demanding character of Johnny Blaze, Cage underwent a rigorous fitness regimen, working out 3 hours a day to get in prime shape for filming. This commitment extended to his personal appearance on set, as he needed to cover his real-life Ghost Rider tattoo with makeup to accurately portray the human Johnny Blaze before his fiery transformation. Despite rumors circulating that his impressive abdominal muscles in the movie were digitally enhanced, writer and director Mark Steven Johnson clarified on the DVD commentary that these claims were false. Cage had lost a significant 10 to 15 pounds in preparation for the film. Beyond his physical transformation, he also contributed creatively to the movie, being involved in writing sections of the script and frequently improvising lines during filming. His aim was to inject a much-needed sense of humor into the narrative, preventing the film from becoming overly gloomy and dark. Many of these spontaneously delivered lines were effective enough that they were kept in the final cut of the movie, further cementing Nicolas Cage's profound influence on the character and the film as a whole. The distinct look and sound of Ghost Rider were the result of highly intricate design processes. For the character's terrifying voice, acclaimed sound designer Dane Davis, known for his work on The Matrix and Simon Birch, took all of Cage's recorded lines as Ghost Rider and put them through a complex layering process. This involved filtering Cage's voice through 3 different kinds of animal growls, played backward across separate frequencies, then amplified by a mechanical volumizer, and finally topped off with a fiery crackle effect. Director Mark Steven Johnson vividly described the final sound as a deep, demonic, mechanical lion's roar, assuring audiences that it would shake the theater. To further enhance the character's authenticity, the computer-generated flaming skull was not simply a generic design. It was meticulously crafted from a 3-dimensional X-ray of Cage's actual skull, adding a unique and unsettling personal touch to the visual effects. Furthermore, Nicolas Cage had limited hair at the time, and wore a custom-made wig created by a wig designer from England. This hairpiece was quite elaborate, requiring a lengthy 3 hours to apply each day before filming could begin. The filmmakers initially decided to incorporate red highlights into Cage's wig, but that creative choice became somewhat controversial among those involved. Ultimately, they opted to change the hair color, making it entirely black for the final look of the character. There's a specific and memorable scene where Johnny Blaze attempts a daring motorcycle jump over a long line of trucks only to crash upon landing. The way this head-on shot is framed and executed is a direct visual homage to a real-life iconic moment in Daredevil history, Evel Knievel's infamous crash. On December 31st, 1967, legendary stunt performer Evel Knievel attempted a spectacular jump over the fountains at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. And he also crashed dramatically on landing, and the head-on footage of that incident became instantly recognizable. The filmmakers of Ghost Rider clearly drew inspiration from Knievel's dramatic wipeout, replicating the visual impact of his ill-fated stunt to enhance the intensity of Johnny Blaze's own motorcycle mishap. For actor Wes Bentley, portraying Blackheart occurred during a challenging period in his life. In a 2010 interview with the New York Times, Bentley openly discussed his decade-long struggle with severe addiction to cocaine and heroin. He revealed that during this difficult time, his primary motivation for taking on any movie roles, including Ghost Rider, was simply to earn enough money to fuel his drug habit. This movie stands out as one of the rare Marvel comic-based movies where the legendary Stan Lee, co-creator of many iconic Marvel characters, did not make his customary cameo appearance. This is because Lee had no involvement in the original creation of the Ghost Rider character for the comics. Despite his lack of direct participation in the character's origins or the film's production, he still received an executive producer credit, a common practice for him on Marvel adaptations, acknowledging his foundational role in the Marvel Universe as a whole. Writer and director Mark Steven Johnson was so committed to bringing his vision for Ghost Rider to the screen that he personally put forward his own money to create the Ghost Rider versus the helicopter action sequence, and asked for more time to film this and several other action scenes. He was passionate about including this scene in particular, but it required additional funding beyond the original budget. Eventually, the studio approved more money for extra action shots, allowing Johnson to bring his vision to life. The scene where the biker tries to prevent Blackheart from entering the saloon has a few subtle nods to motorcycle club culture and comic book lore. The biker's t-shirt features an image of Abyss, a villain from the X-Men comics. This detail might be a deliberate reference or simply a costume choice for a demonic look. More overtly, the numbers 666 are visible on the side of his jacket. However, this isn't a biblical reference, as 666 often stands for FFF, which translates to Filthy Few Forever, a designation used by the Hells Angels Motorcycle Club to mark distinguished members. Further cementing the connection to the Hells Angels, the biker explicitly says to Blackheart,
"Angels only in there."
A clear verbal reference to the notorious motorcycle club. In the movie, the devilish character who strikes a deal with Johnny Blaze is named Mephistopheles, or simply Mephisto. This name is a direct nod to the classic German legend of Faust, a popular story where a mortal makes a pact with a demonic entity, often involving the selling of one's soul, which was done by signing in blood. In the original Faust tales, Mephistopheles isn't portrayed as the supreme ruler of hell, but rather as a powerful demon and a servant of the true devil. In the comics, the character of Mephisto debuted in The Silver Surfer, 1968, created by Stan Lee and John Buscema. He was introduced as a cosmic-level villain with devilish overtones, often meddling in the affairs of characters like Silver Surfer, Thor, and Doctor Strange. Blackheart, on the other hand, made his first appearance a few years later in Daredevil, 1989, created by Ann Nocenti and John Romita Jr., as a demonic entity and the son of Mephisto, often clashing with various Marvel heroes beyond just Ghost Rider, including Daredevil and Spider-Man. So when the movie brought both of these characters in as central antagonists, it was continuing Marvel's tradition of borrowing villains from across its vast comic universe. In one scene, the video game that Mac is seen playing is not a fictional game created just for the film. It's actually a real game called Crusty Demons, released in 2006. It was developed by the UK-based company Climax Studios. Interestingly, Crusty Demons shares a thematic similarity with the plot of Ghost Rider. It features a group of extreme bikers who die during a dangerous stunt, only to be resurrected and granted immortality by Satan in exchange for performing his bidding with their motorcycle skills. This connection is further deepened by the fact that Climax Studios was the developer of the official Ghost Rider video game, creating a neat link between the film's diegetic world and its real-world gaming counterpart. When bringing Johnny Blaze's fiery transformation into Ghost Rider to the screen, director Johnson initially imagined it as a purely agonizing process. However, Nicolas Cage offered a nuanced perspective on the change. He conveyed to Johnson that while the initial shift might be excruciating for Johnny Blaze, the actual state of being the Ghost Rider should feel good, even empowering. This helped to shape the depiction of the transformation, suggesting a duality where pain gives way to a kind of dark satisfaction for the supernatural entity. Before Cage was cast as Johnny Blaze, both Johnny Depp and Eric Bana reportedly expressed interest in playing the character. Bana was considered a strong contender, especially since the film was a US-Australia co-production. However, Nicolas Cage was deeply committed to landing the role and ultimately won out. Additionally, producer Gary Foster confirmed in his audio commentary for the extended cut of the film that Brett Cullen and Donald Logue were considered for similar roles in Daredevil, which was also written and directed by Johnson and produced by Foster. Cullen was in the running to play Matt Murdock's father, Jack Murdock, while Logue was considered for Franklin Foggy Nelson, Murdock's law partner. Ultimately, those roles went to David Keith and Jon Favreau. The character of the Caretaker, also known as Carter Slade, serves as a direct homage to the very first Ghost Rider from Marvel Comics. To prevent any confusion with the more well-known Johnny Blaze version, this original character is now referred to as the Phantom Rider in the comics. While the film's Caretaker has a supernatural connection to the Ghost Rider power, the original comic book character is a regular human. He achieves his distinctive glowing effect by wearing a white costume and riding a white painted horse, both of which are covered with phosphorus for a glowing effect. This film marked a notable milestone for Australian actress Rebel Wilson, as it was her very first appearance in a feature film. Director Mark Steven Johnson had a positive impression with Wilson and expressed his hopes that she would go on to have a successful career in comedy. Wilson's character, credited as Girl in Alley, appeared in every TV spot and trailer for the movie. She portrayed a goth woman struggling with a robber before being saved by the Ghost Rider. Her next scene was when she talks to Roxanne about her experience. The moment where she's looking directly into the camera and striking a funny pose with her hands was entirely unscripted, and the filmmakers decided to include it in the final cut. And that brings us to the end of this deep dive into the flaming skull and chain-wielding world of Ghost Rider. Whether you're a longtime fan of this character or just discovered his fiery quest for justice, there's no denying the unique appeal of this supernatural anti-hero. So if you enjoyed this ride through the ins and outs of the movie and would like to see more explorations of your favorite movies and characters, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Also share in the comments below what other movies you'd like to see fun facts videos on. Until then, thanks for watching, stay sharp, and see you in the next video.